Alright, let's speed run this intro. I am on the path to becoming the first off-meta ADC Fiddlesticks Challenger player, which involves me getting hate in every champ select by my own team, and then after wiping my literal ass with the enemy team all game it involves getting hate from them too. I figured rather than having a rage quit support who doesn't like me, I would just take my idea to the next level, and it boils down to this Venn diagram where you can see how I achieve OPness, which has been nasty to say the least.
You are now in the presence of a king.
Alright, I wanted to show a few games to demonstrate the power of a horny haybag and his midget Tesla battery as support, and this one immediately starts off with Vayne calling me a fake Rav fanboy cringe loser, so you already know I put 2 condoms on with how hard I planned on f***ing this disgusting pig all game. Typically we tuck our nutsuck into our butts until level 6 when we can pull out the Venn diagram of virginity, but this tumble twat was just begging to be an early toaster in a bathtub, so I whopped her with the dubstep ignite finish right off the bat. Then rather than backing, I let her think she was going to freeze me out of lane, so I decided to play a quick game of surprise you a dead bitch with my mini ninja in attendance to nab the kill. At this point, based off of her gameplay and her chirping in all chat, I could just tell she was an insufferable douchebag whose support already was too annoyed to lane with, so we took advantage by chilling in the same tall grass I did before, as we weren't even planning on ulting until she flashed us, which was enough to get lil homie feeling frisky, so he whipped it out. Now for those of you born with 3 thumbs and 2 brain cells, here's how absolutely free this can be, as you see an engagement that's more pathetic than Logan Paul's from my cannon, and based off of this disgusting humping a doorknob level of coordination it's looking bleak, but not to fear, my fear is here as I say hey I gotta piss in the shrubs, JK bitch eat these latex balloons, and Vayne's dying wishes for me to be closer to her Milio so that little chode doesn't feel lonely, which ends up landing me 2 kills in what should have been an embarrassing end. Anyways, Gosu is clearly spending more time typing suggestions to his teammates on how they should reduce their heart rate to 0, which means I get a free intro to this keyboard warrior who staples me to a wall before putting up a sad effort and dying. That said, despite the genocide of she who somersaults bot, the rest of my team is getting shit on worse than a porta potty at Coachella, so I say hey Kenan, do you care to show these people the Venn diagram of virginity, and he's like hell yeah, only if you position like a dumbass clown, to which I say that's the whole point, to show people how you can play this by dry humping your keyboard with the wrinkly weenus on the back of your elbows and still print kills. Vayne is still more overextended than any parent of a Roblox player's credit card, so me and Kenan both quote-unquote pour one out for this disgrace of a player in the form of skill shots before sucking him off for the kill. But then a big fight breaks out up top, and this is what Fiddlemains wet their clown beds thinking about.
Bruh.
That said, where there's a wall that I can have a minor epileptic episode before porting over in a hurricane of balloon animals, I will be there. And if it wasn't for this Shen being spoon-fed like a limbless toddler all game, it would have been a smooth-ass clip. Vayne is being one of those reportable Dick Lint failed abortions that just side lanes and refuses to do anything else all game, which admittedly did get her 2 levels up on me, but when it came to 1v1s I was able to just slightly edge her out. I've been watching a bunch of Andrew Huberman who convinced me to calm the jets on the whole jerking off thing, but as the master of bait, I can't resist a little bush cheese, only to see that powdered donut looking swordsman fall into our trap before receiving more shields than the logo of Blue Cross. You think he's safe, but that's when I channel Hurricane Latex, which accomplishes the goal of reducing the size of the red bars above their heads. I do my best sorority slut impersonation and stick around sucking off anyone who is willing to give me attention while using an item that most ADCs don't have the budget to buy, which puts another plus in the column of APC life, being the one I'm enjoying the hell out of right now. Anyways, the goal of any team fight is to treat it like the bug fix of any broken shit in League of Legends, arrive late and then make a bunch of self-righteous noise about it while a bunch of more skilled players lost out because of it, which long story short ends in us chasing down their support and floppy donkey dick ear fizz for a partial ace. One of our caster minions looks at me and says, I triple dog dare you to use your ult right now, even though there's no fog of war and they will clearly see it coming. And to that I say, hold my beer, that I shaped out of inflatable balloons, which was good enough to stir some pots, and you may think I am DO double dead here, but that's when I get a little flashy in this bitch before spectating the fruits of my labor come to fruition from the shrubs. Their support was now voicing her distaste for my pick while Vayne was calling for me to be reported for me being a fake fanboy. So if you are watching this, Vayne, I prescribe to you many blades of grass to be touched. But raging teenagers aside, let's get to another example of the fettest I've ever gotten doing this. This one we do wait until our 6th birthday before becoming combative, before hitting this pink-haired ninny muggins with a little foreshadowing of the book we are about to read her, entitled 1000 Ways You Will Become a Dead Bitch by J.K. rolling on the floor laughing at that lantern. Anyways, there's a dragon that I would like to witness my jungler whiffing his smite on before I port in and tell Jinx there's nothing she can do to hurt me when I willingly suck off 3 dudes at once for fun, which goes great until I have to peel off and wait for the downs of cool to come back while the boys finish the job. Then, because I have the macro gameplay knowledge of a burnt waffle fry, I base at the worst time you can think of, but you know what they say, 3 is a crowd, and I really am just interested in the company of this SKT biology class skeleton, so I disinvite Jinx via inflatables in a cheeky 1v2. We are then just nabbing an easy first tower of the game as Heisman comes down, thinking he will just stick his pre-wrapped ankles up my a-hole, but a little storm and suck combo meal is enough to give the douche some diabetes, which in this case is a terminal diagnosis. Let's roll another instance where we play this about as well as Tyler 1 probably played the silent game as a kid. But once again I just bring an aura to these fights that no anorexic can outshine before their support grabs me and pulls me over, saying look at my ADC, just put me out of my misery. Buying pink wards is bonus value on Scarecrow Sammy because the fog of war is the peanut butter to your passive's gelatinous titties, as shown by this Thresh receiving the surprise and get shit on special. There's red meat at McDragon's, which means baby Rapunzel will be bringing her old school Hollywood snacks to the party, and the Ambien is enough to kill a gerbil apparently, so I do some clown shit to make sure the blind kickboxer doesn't benefit from another failed smite before showing Zoe a picture of my toe fungus to scare her long enough for us to take her down. I then decide to teach this skinny bitch a lesson, and that's to never go anywhere alone, because you never know what kind of killer crow deterrent has become sentient and ready to play fist you bum bum. As you can see, it was a close fight. Somehow 22 minutes into the game my mid laner still has not grasped the objective of this game apparently, so I say fuck it, I will take matters into my own giant glove covered hands as we all basically just ignore Ozark's hillbilly Mundo until we can take down his tower first, and then unfortunately for him I have 2 abilities that scale off of enemy health, so there's no going where he pleases in this one. Psyche still managed to whip some cleavers at the midget spark plug, and while none of us could take him down with ease, I wasn't going to let the disrespect of wearing a hat made of hay fly in my presence. Then we had to do more border control because my jungler landing his smite is about as probable as Hassan Abi being fun to hang out with. So I first find the little tranquilizing toddler and I scare her off before teaching her that going gold in my presence is a mistake. We then regroup with 4 of them down to hopefully get a peaceful drag, and thankfully my jungler does manage to outsmite a literal blind man in this one. Turns out this Zoe is a massive problem for my team, so I had to hit her with the old surprise hope you don't have a latex allergy type of interaction, which is enough to keep her off the map. Then while she's dead the rest of us adults can get some real work done. The only thing is my ult has the downs again, which isn't cool, but I do have an alternative game plan in these situations, and that's to mimic the business model of so many young women these days. Suck, suck and sucked, because at the end of the day as long as you are getting paid, who the fuck cares about your dignity? And that's coming from a sellout who has done dozens of ads for Raid Shadow Legends #9x report me ravs off the rails, but at least you can't pay $5 to see my bleached asshole. Yet. Anyways, I'm now rocking a KDA worthy of going home to meet the parents, so line up one more slap battle in the forest for me to attend as the hired entertainment for the night, which results in one last Mundo outlasting 5 of us for a long time, and with it you can hopefully see why I'm having a blast and also winning a lot of games with this comp in the bot lane. Subscribe please YouTube, been unsubbing people. Rav out.